Hey, what's up guys? Scared here, and today we are debunking the DCI. No, I'm just playing. Hey, what's up guys? Scared here, and I've been in denial about a certain piece of information in the FNAF franchise. Something which I'm sure you know by now takes up an entire chapter in the official FNAF Ultimate Guide 2.0. I just could not fathom the audacity of its very existence, let alone the supposed lore bits it might have contained. Have you too heard of Chica's secret party? It's a secret minigame. FNAF has lots of those, but this one never actually existed. Or it almost existed. Or it existed, but nobody noticed. It's unclear. In any case, it's relevant in some way to the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's, and I can continue to ignore it no longer. Especially because I found the damn book in real life and am holding proof of its existence in my hands as we speak. It's right here.
It's right here. It's right here. It's right there.
So without further ado, let us finally buckle down and solve Chica's secret party. Let's begin with the 4 supposed screenshots of the actual minigame. All of the pictures show us a minigame titled Chica's New Party, and all of them depict Toy Chica running around either in or outside of a house. In the first image, we can see the house is decorated with a party banner as well as various balloons. Makes sense, this is a party after all. 2 of the 4 images contain what appear to be Chica's party guests. Numerous crying children, or babies as the guidebook calls them. The second image takes place in the home's basement, and I know this because I read ahead, and the basement is described as having a burst pipe filling the room up with water. The third image obviously depicts the home's kitchen, as we can see what appears to be a stove, perhaps a dishwasher, as well as a couple cooking utensils hung up on the wall. Oh, and there's a large dog in the kitchen too. The last image, oh boy, the last image, well, do I even have to say it? Toy Chica is outside in the rain, approaching one of the home's windows, which is visibly shattered. This scene should be all too familiar to FNAF theorists. It's the final scene from the infamous Midnight Motorist minigame from Pizzeria Simulator. I know, but keep your heads on. I'll explain everything. I'll try my best. The last thing to note is the various cupcakes scattered around the house. These are modeled after Chica's sidekick / minion, Mr. Cupcake, otherwise known as Carl. The pink frosting topped cupcake we know and love is of course present, along with at least 1 blue and 1 green colored variant. Already there is so much we could say here, but for added context, let me first read to you the official description of this minigame. Chica's throwing a party. At this party, there are plenty of guests to feed sweet cupcakes, and some very unwanted guests. There's a fly in here. Chica's throwing up at this party. There are plenty of guests to feed sweet cupcakes, and some very unwanted guests that crashed the party. Chica's secret party was very nearly a secret game, as it was only available online for a short time. 3 days to be precise, on scottgames.com back in 2016. Information and tips can still be found on fan wiki websites about the elusive secret party, so check them out if you want to know more. First of all, no, you're not going crazy. This minigame never existed on scottgames.com or any website, okay? Let's give some credit to one of the most obsessive fan bases on the planet. We would have noticed. And no, nobody wrote a single word about this minigame on any fan wiki websites. At least, not until now. 10 out of 10 rage bait. I almost lost my cool there. Apart from this obvious troll/gaslighting attempt though, the game appears to be legit. I've heard people being very dismissive of the content in this minigame, and even writing the whole thing off as just one big useless troll. But I really don't think that's the case, guys. Like, okay, I think Scott's lying about the minigame being up on his website for 3 whole days, and about people writing about it. And that's pretty funny. He knew it would get under our skin, even if we saw right through it. But aside from that, if you really read through and process this minigame, it's not just some BS. It's not some AI hallucination either. It is confident and consistent with its claims, while handling some very delicate pieces of lore. I believe, and if you clicked on this video, you likely agree, that this minigame is important, and that we would be utter fools not to give it the attention it deserves. So Chica's stated goal in this minigame is to make all the party's guests happy by giving them cupcakes. So far, we are in completely normal territory for a FNAF minigame. After all, this was exactly the goal in FNAF 2's Take Cake to the Children minigame, and in FNAF 3's original Chica's Party minigame, and in Sister Location's Circus Baby minigame. However, it's very important to note that in each of those cake minigames, taking cake to the children might have been the goal, but it was never the point. The point of these cake minigames is what we could learn along the way, in the midst of or after the cake-related tasks. In Take Cake to the Children, for example, we learn the backstory for the marionette. We witness the murder of Charlotte Emily. In Chica's Party, as well as the several other FNAF 3 minigames, we seem to enter a space between worlds in order to reach the lost souls of the missing children and guide them to the happiest day party. In the Circus Baby minigame, we learn Circus Baby's backstory. We witness the tragic death of Elizabeth Afton. Yes, we take cake, but more importantly, we get lore. As such, I have a feeling that this minigame, Chica's Secret Party, was also made specifically to give us insight into a certain mysterious death in the franchise. In fact, I theorize that Chica's Secret Party might have been the original Midnight Motorist. Think about it. According to this guide, Chica's Secret Party was a would-be minigame from the year 2016. In that year, both FNAF World and Sister Location released. Pizzeria Simulator, and with it, Midnight Motorist, would not release until a year later, in 2017. If it ever did release, then Chica's Secret Party would have come before Midnight Motorist. Funnily enough, the minigames we did end up getting in Pizzeria Sim serve the exact same purpose as the several cake minigames we've just mentioned. Security Puppet is a retelling of Charlotte Emily's murder. Fruity Maze shows us the night in which Susie, one of the missing children, got lured to her death. Midnight Motorist would logically serve a similar function. After all, you must complete all 3 of those minigames in order to unlock the secret gravestone ending card at the end of the game. Therefore, those 3 minigames must all include some sort of insight into the victims of William Afton. Oh yeah, and there's Toy Chica in Ultimate Custom Night dropping hints that she's on an unstoppable murder streak. Let's keep reading. Chica moves through her secret party, hopping and jumping through levels, collecting all the pink cupcakes she can scoop up. Chica brings the babies the cupcakes she's collected, turning the crying babies into happy babies. The more babies she appeases powers up her life force, allowing her to speed up when needed for special levels. The question is, can Chica accomplish all of the levels without being caught by the mysterious shadow figures? Again, just like FNAF's other cake minigames, Chica must take cake to crying children, and apparently you don't want to miss any because the more babies Chica makes happy, the faster you become. As we'll continue to hear, being fast is essential to beating this minigame. We also learn here that throughout the minigame we might encounter mysterious shadow figures that are basically acting as our obstacles and will catch us if we're not careful. If you recall, Toy Chica has already been chased down by a shadow cupcake in the original Chica's Party minigame. But this wouldn't result in a game over or anything. Players may also encounter a shadow puppet and some shadow balloon boys in the other FNAF 3 minigames. Shadows which are indeed interesting, but all equally as harmless. Honestly, my first thought was of the shadowy enemies in Princess Quest. Princess Quest obviously came long after 2016, but this chapter, Chica's Secret Party, was placed immediately after Help Wanted 2 in the table of contents, a game which, as we know, contains the fourth and final Princess Quest minigame. In my opinion, Princess Quest has more to do with the modern FNAF lore, but it does touch on the original story, featuring the original victims of William Afton. The memory of these murders/disappearances are given a great amount of attention and, like we've just mentioned, appear to us as a series of graves. Princess Quest also allows players to venture into the Corn Maze from Help Wanted's Curse of Dreadbear DLC, an event which is themed around Fall Fest of 1983. This DLC features yet another set of graves, a blatant Midnight Motorist reference, a faraway look at the FNAF 4/Afton house, and a level in said house where we reach the FNAF 4 Crying Child's bedroom. So Princess Quest is way in the future, but it's also a blast to the past, with many connections to what we're talking about today. These shadowy, rabbit-shaped enemies act as the princess's obstacles as she tries to complete her minigame, which may or may not mirror the way that Chica's Secret Party works as well. For now, let's just keep reading to find out more. The Crying Babies. The Secret Party levels are filled with upset babies, whom Chica must feed the cupcakes to in order to accomplish her tasks. In most of the levels, the babies are happy with just one cupcake. Chica discovers that occasionally, the babies need more than one cupcake to stop their tantrums, and sometimes she needs to be super fast to accomplish her tasks. So it keeps describing the mechanics of the minigame, and again, it's all very consistent from section to section. It's also easily likened to the real FNAF minigames we actually got to play. Here, I am especially reminded of how the Circus Baby minigame works in Sister Location. In that minigame, 8-bit Baby must also give cake to crying children, some who are happy with just one cupcake, and some who require more. There's regular pink cupcakes as well as special blue and green cupcakes. Like we mentioned before, we also see multicolored cupcakes in Chica's Secret Party. This is yet another reason why I'm convinced that this minigame is legit. It fits right in with everything we know about authentic FNAF minigames. Let's keep reading. Is what I would say if I was any good at making long videos. But unfortunately I'm not, so sorry to disappoint y'all, but I'm gonna have to continue this conversation in another video. Hopefully I've laid some good groundwork for when we tackle the rest of the minigame, starting with the shadow figures. And hopefully I've managed to convince everybody that this minigame is not something that you can just write off. You know, I think it's something really important here. Also, I've seen some people looking really deep into the crying babies and stuff, and so this is just my perspective, my point of view, that these babies don't really matter. They're kind of just the busy work that you have to complete in the minigame in order to get to the real lore, you know? I could be right, could be wrong. We're all in this together, y'all, so let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you have something to share, then please drop it in the comments below. And if you want to hear the rest of my thoughts on Chica's Secret Party, then subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Thank you again, and you guys have yourselves a wonderific day. How long have you been with her? How long have you been with her? I can't do it.